Hi everybody, I am Keaton and this is Kid Catholic Season 8, Episode 9. And before we get into today's topic, I want to say a few quick things. First off, thank you to the people, for those of you who were on my live Q&A that I had this past Friday. If you want to go watch the replay of that, that is currently up. And I also want to say, please help support my ministry. We're almost to 4,000 subscribers, so please click the subscribe button and share this channel with those who you know, because we're close to 4,000 subscribers, so if I could have your guys' help, I would really appreciate it. And so for today's topic, I wanted to talk about something that's kind of been talked about a little bit lately, but I haven't really focused on it on my channel, and that really is, what is a miracle? Like, what defines a miracle versus what defines God working in our life? Because sometimes, even without realizing it, we may overlap the two. We may think this is a God working in our life, doing extraordinary things in our life, we may consider a miracle. And so those two overlap, and it's important to find the borders, that there is a clear difference between a miracle and God working in our life, and God helping us through many things. And while both are great, there's a difference that we need to make clear. And so the way that I want to start with that is by looking at the Catechism of the Catholic Church definition of a miracle. In the glossary of the CCC, it says right here, I have it pulled up, it says, miracle, a sign or wonder such as healing or the control of nature, which can only be attributed to divine power. So something that can only be attributed to divine power. Notice, it says right here, or the control of nature. A miracle is anything that science can't prove, right? So I want to give an example. A lot of times, people may say that they were late for work one day. Of course, or most people aren't going to work right now. But if we were, right, some people would say, oh, I was late to work one day. I lost my keys, I lost my phone, whatever it might be, right? So I was late to work, and on my way there was an accident. And had I not been there in time, or had I been there on time, I may have been involved in the accident. And is that great? Yes, it is that you weren't involved in it. That could very well be God working in your life, right? But it's not like that's something that science can't prove. I'm not saying that wasn't God at all. That absolutely could have been God. It could have been your guardian angel watching over you, which is absolutely incredible, but it's not a miracle. A miracle is the loaves and the fishes, which I'll get into a little more later, right? A miracle is Jesus healing the lepers and healing the blind people. And so it's important to make that difference. Now, when I'm saying that that miracles are something that science can't prove, right? Or something that is, and only with divine power. Not like magic or anything like that, right? Only with divine power. And there's a clear distinction between God working through us. God would work through some of the saints. Some of the saints would perform miracles. But it was not the saints performing those miracles. It was God performing those miracles through the saints. Something that I want to relate it to a little bit, and it may seem like I'm going off topic here, but I promise you I'm not. And this can relate to some of you, maybe teens or kids watching this right now, okay? I want to briefly mention something about my favorite movie series, The Lord of the Rings, okay? Versus its rival series, Harry Potter, and it's clear which one's better, The Lord of the Rings. Anyway, in Harry Potter, it is the wizards, it is the main characters, Harry Potter himself, right, doing the magic, creating the magic by saying their magic tricks and things like that, right? In Lord of the Rings, I'll use Gandalf as an example. He is a wizard in that series. However, it is not him performing the magic. It's not like anyone in the Lord of the Rings can go and perform magic. No, it is the creators of Middle Earth. I don't know that much about Lord of the Rings that I know who those are, but who work through Gandalf in order for him to perform those, I guess you could say, I know it's fictional, guys, but miracles. And so you see what I mean by the difference between God working through the saints or God working through us versus something that isn't through divine power, right? If it isn't through divine power, obviously I'm not sitting here saying that magic exists, but if it isn't through divine power, then it isn't a miracle. And so it's important to draw those lines. Now, I'm not saying that God working through our life, since it's not a miracle, is bad. God working in our life is incredible. Sometimes we really need God being there. And something that I want to say, just mention super quickly, is sometimes when we don't feel him, an analogy that I heard once that is really good is the teacher is always quiet during a tough test, right? Luckily, I don't have to take finals this year, so I'm not going to experience that this year. But I say that to say that there are moments when we may not necessarily feel or be connected to God working in our life. But then there are other moments where he is. It's not like he just abandons us and leaves us alone, right? There are other moments where God is working in our life through whatever it may be. Maybe you're late to work, maybe you're late to school, and as a result you didn't get in an accident, which is God working in your life. But to say that's a miracle is a very clear difference. Now, does this mean that anyone can just pray and then, bam, I ask God to let me heal a blind man, and I got it? No, it's not like we can just pray to God for us to perform, I guess, in a way, magic, right? A miracle. Absolutely not. Miracles are not magic, and there's not just like God is a genie who we can say, hey, let me perform this. Absolutely not, right? It is not magic. It is a divine power which God has, right? God has to perform miracles, to perform those healings, like Jesus did many times throughout the Bible. So I want to go back to the loaves and fishes, because I talked a little bit about Jesus working in the Bible, right? Something that I guess a little debate for some people is that Jesus actually didn't multiply the loaves and the fishes, and that everyone just shared with each other, right? Everyone shared the loaves and shared the fishes with each other, which, when you think it, doesn't make sense. And so there's a clear difference there as to what is a miracle and what isn't. I don't know what other way to put it other than it was a miracle that Jesus multiplied those loaves and those fishes to feed 5,000 men, not including women and children, so even a lot more people than that, right? That simply is a miracle. Now, the fact that the little boy shared his and offered his fish and loaves, right? The fact that he shared that is great, but it wasn't like all of them were just sharing together, right? Jesus performed a miracle, which science cannot explain. I want to go back to the CCC definition. It says a sign or wonder, such as a healing or the control of nature, which can only be attributed to divine power. That's what happened in the story of the loaves and fishes, and that's what happened many times. Jesus performed a ton of miracles throughout the Bible, right? His first being the wedding at Cana. And so there's a clear difference in the distinction that we have to make. And again, I'm not saying that God working in our life is just, it's bad because it's not a miracle. Absolutely not. God working in our life is amazing and great. Something that we need to be thankful for, and that we need to pray to God in thanks, right? However, that's not a miracle in and of itself, because like I said, a miracle is something that science cannot explain. And so it's important to draw these differences. And again, I want to emphasize, it's not like it's impossible for these miracles to happen even in today's world, right? Because we look back on the story of the Bible, and yes, Jesus performed a lot of miracles during his public ministry, but he's also performed miracles through the saints. Like I've talked about, it's not like the saints have performed them on their own, right? That he has performed through the saints, that they have been able to display here. So these miracles, it's not like it's just impossible for them to happen. It's just we need to make the distinction between God working through our life and God performing a miracle. And both are great and absolutely awesome, but there is a clear difference that we need to draw and that we need to make sure we are aware of, especially when talking about a subject like that, where there are clear lines, like the CCC says right here. So now that the topic is done, do you all know what it's time for now? It's time for
the Saint of the Week!
And today's Saint of the Week is one who, through the power of God, legend has it, performed an insane miracle, and he is a lesser-known saint. So I definitely wanted to talk about him today. He is Saint Denis, as he's called in France, which is where he is more popular, or here in America, called Saint Denis, popularly mispronounced as Saint Denis, since that's how it's spelled. But Saint Denis has an absolutely incredible story. So he, along with two companions who are also saints, but lesser known, were martyred in a time of Christian persecution. Now, not a lot is known about these saints. The first knowledge we ever had of them came from the writings of Saint Gregory, a different saint. So it's not like these stories were well known at the time, because they came from the writings. The first knowledge that we have of them came from another saint. While they're not very well known, Saint Denis specifically has an absolutely incredible story, because he lived in a time, again, of Christian persecution, which is now in a town now called Paris. So he is known as the first Bishop of Paris, the first bishop of France, because he was a bishop at that time. And his priest and his deacon, well, at least legend has it, it's his priest and his deacon, who were his companions, were all executed, persecuted, and beheaded. However, this is the cool part. Legend has it. Again, this isn't confirmed, this is legend. But legend has it that Saint Denis, after he had been executed, some of his followers found his body, and then when they went to lay him to rest in a grave, he picked up his own head and walked to the grave with them, walked the streets of Paris while carrying his own head. Now there are some saints with wild stories, but that's one that just absolutely blew my mind. I haven't done a mind blow in a while. I really got to start doing that more. But yeah, isn't that crazy? That's legend, but if true, wow, what a perfect miracle to use for this example. Now you see, there's a difference between miracle and God working in our life. That's a miracle. That is something that science cannot explain. Again, Saint Denis didn't perform it. It was God performing it through Saint Denis. But once again, just, oh my gosh, that is incredible. Saint Denis, or Saint Denis, has an absolutely incredible story. Something that science cannot explain and only possible through divine power. Again, it's not like these miracles are magic. These are things that come from the divine power of God, which is just, it's absolutely incredible. And so his story makes it clear what is a miracle and what isn't. And anytime we might be asking ourselves, is this a miracle? Ask yourself, is this something science can prove? I'm not saying that it was because of science, that it was because, it was a coincidence. No, I'm not saying that. It can absolutely be God working in our lives. However, that's not what a miracle is. That's not the CCC definition of a miracle. Anyway, Saint Denis is an absolutely incredible saint. So anytime we need his help, we can pray through him. Saint Denis, pray for us. So before you guys click off this video, really quickly, I know a lot of y'all click off right away. Really quickly, could you just give me a sec? We are almost to 4,000 subscribers, and it would really help support my ministry and what I'm doing to make it our ministry, right? And come together to grow this community and grow this channel so that we can all bring people closer to the faith. And I would love for you all to be a part of that. So please just share this channel, share this video, and let others know about Kid Catholic. Maybe it's not even subscribing. Maybe it's getting them to just watch a video or two, because I want us all to lead people closer to Christ. But I can't do it alone. I really need your guys' help in that. So if you guys could do that, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, please check out 3 of my social medias, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The link to all 3 of those will be in the description down below. Thank you to those of you who have been watching me for so long. I just want to give an extra thanks because I know that a lot of you all have commented on my videos since the very beginning. And whether you've been here since the beginning or you're just joining, because I know I have a lot of new subscribers, I want to say welcome. And I'm very excited to have you here. Please go check out my website, kidcatholic.com. There's so many things you can do on there. You can read about me. You can contact me. All my t-shirts are up there. There's a photo gallery. All my videos are up there. Some of the recent radio shows that I've done are up there. So please go check that out. Also, all videos on this channel are now categorized into topics. So if you go to playlists, you're looking for a certain topic, you can search of one of my videos on a certain topic. You can search I have them categorized into topics. So if you want to go check that out. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. This was Keaton of Kid Catholic. I will see you all next week, and hi Brielle.